All right. Well, here I is. This is it's 5:06 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. Grooving on a Tuesday afternoon. Oh no no no. And it's 5:07 p.m. and it's 9/6/22. 09/06/22. Or as I like to put the date on things, I put 22/09/06. Why do I do that? Because this way I only need six numbers. That's actually the way when you save some of these files, like especially like video files, that's how they would abbreviate. They're not gonna tell you month, day, and year. They will tell you year, month, and date, so that this way, that's the way they do it anyway. But I'm doing okay. I went to therapy today. I went to occupational therapy, and I went to physical therapy, and both of them were very challenging. Today they had me putting a fistful of rice from one container to another, doing like that, and then taking. And then when I filled it up, then I put it all back, the same way. So I did that. They also had me. They had me circulating my hand in warm. How do you say it? Warm sand, like almost like a very coarse sand, not a fine sand. It was like a coarse sand, and so they heated up. Supposed to be like a moist heat kind of thing. It's similar to heating up rice and putting the rice in a sock. And then after you put the rice in the sock, you heat it up in the microwave. You put it in the sock, and it stays warm. So this way you could do things with your hand, and the heat will help your hand. It'll help it loosen up. Right now it's feeling very tight because anytime that I do OT, it's gonna be that. Also over the weekend, I was doing a lot of stuff with the putty. All these years I've been pretty mad, so I've taken it out of the putty, and I think I kind of like overdid it. I mean, I have different color putties. I have I have yellow putty. The yellow putty is like a softer putty. It's almost like silly putty, like that kind of consistency. It's easy to pull apart or whatever. And then the other one, I have a green putty, and the green putty is a little bit harder, you know. And I think they have other colors. I guess I don't know, but I was using a lot. Let me just close this door here. I'm hearing some stuff there from my son. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Yo vine a alabar a Dios. Dime lo que tú veniste. Yo vine a alabar a Dios. Dime lo que tú veniste. Yo vine a alabar a Dios. Hallelujah. Okay, there you go. Get that fan on. It's a little hot in here now. This is Florida, whenever you talk about Florida, it's gonna something. Some days it's gonna be really hot and uncomfortable. Well, this is probably one of those days. It's very hot and very uncomfortable. Let me get this thing right over here. I try to keep this computer like at an angle, and the reason why I do that is because the okay. The reason why I do that is because right on this side of the computer, of the laptop, you have the plug there, right? And over here on the side, I also have USB. Over here, USB cables. So what I do is I try to keep this side over here elevated, and that side uh, just on the ground sometimes. And I also open up the cup holder over here on the side. There's no cup holder here on the side. That's actually for the DVDs and stuff like that. So anyway, I finally got a hold of somebody at at this place that I've been trying to get this I've been trying to find out about some housing that they might have for veterans, and hopefully I can find out about that. I've been calling them up like every 5 minutes, and from 7 o'clock in the morning to 12 something in the afternoon when I just can't take it anymore. I put the clock for 5 minutes, and I keep on calling them, and all this is busy, busy, busy. And that number was given to me by the guy who's at the National Center for the VA. He works for them. So they give out like HUD vouchers and stuff like that for people, and I might be needing that for a little while because it seems like this process is going to take a little bit longer than I thought. Like I was saying, the how do you say, the whole thing with the driving test didn't go too well. It went terrible actually. The guy he was looking to trip me up from the minute I went over there. I must look like somebody who did him wrong. Maybe I look like the dealer who he didn't he didn't give him the right amount of pot and seed combination. So maybe he gave him too many seeds and too many stems and not enough pot. I don't know what the story is. Maybe I look like somebody who robbed them at one point in his past. Maybe I look like somebody who is stole his woman or something. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't care. But I think a therapist should be a person that is professional. You're dealing with people who have brain injuries, who have stroke. You're dealing with people who have spinal injuries. You know, you're dealing with people who are paralytic. Well, maybe not him, because I think if you're paralytic, I don't think you'd be driving a car. You have to have at least motor skills with your hands, right? So I think if you're totally paralyzed, I don't think you're gonna be able to do that. I think if you have to have some kind of mobility in your arms. I used to know this guy that he lost his legs in Vietnam, and he used to drive. He used to have like a very light wheelchair. I don't know what it was made out of, but it was pretty light. And I used to help put it in his back seat, and then I would go into the other side, and I would push him also. And I worked at the in Alto Rey, Puerto Rico. They had a federal building there, right? And he used to work there as a counselor or something, something like that, which I never really understood, because there was people who were 100% 100% service connected, yet they were working in jobs that, to me, it sounded like, I don't know, it sounded way too hard. But I guess they know better than me, right? Anyway, so far my neurologist has said that she doesn't want me going up the 6 foot ladder. She doesn't want me to learn how to go up 20-inch steps, because the biggest steps that I've seen in in this thing, the biggest steps that I've seen with trucks, with the truck cab, they always the cab part is the part that's where the driver sits, and so that the highest that I've ever seen is 20 inches. 20 inches was the first step. 20 inches was the second step, and then on the third step you get to go inside the actual behind the wheel, right? So that's always happening with that. Now the whole thing about this is that this guy here, I put my, let's say this was the, let me see if I can get something here that's round. Let's see if I can get something that's round. But anyway, I guess I could draw it for you. I'm guessing I can draw it for you. Let's see here. Okay, let me use this black Sharpie marker, so that this way I can show you exactly what the story is with that, right? let's say this is the steering wheel, right? Let's say it's just for the sake of arguing. There's a perfect circle. I know it's not a perfect circle, but let's just say for the sake of argument, it is, right? Okay. And that's the steering wheel, right? That's just a regular run of the mill steering wheel. But they also had a wheel within a wheel. This wasn't Elijah's vision of God, all right? This is just a regular steering wheel. So it had an inner circle. See? It was something like that. It was a piece of metal that went all the way around. See, it's on the inside part of the steering wheel. So this is what I did, right? When we were ready to pull out of there, right? Well, even before that, he tells me, he says, when you get into the car, you have to adjust your mirrors, the side mirrors, the rear view mirror, and if you move the seat up, you have to readjust the mirrors on the side and the rear. Okay. So I go inside. Of course, it's going to take me a little while to go inside, you know, because I'm still, it's very hard for me to get in and out of cars. Once I'm inside, everything's cool. So anyway, I finally get inside, and the guy, even before that, he was asking me, he was looking at me limping. He said, did you have a fall? And I said, no, I haven't had a fall. I said, I'm just limping, but it's still okay for me to take the driving test, right? He said, yeah, there's no problem with that. He said, just looks like you had a fall. And I said, no, I didn't have a fall. So anyway, so we get downstairs, and on the way, I even told him, I said, I think you're gonna fail me, but I ain't got nothing better to do, so I'll go and I'll take this test. And he said, why do you think it's so negatively? I said, well, because you were saying that my reflexes are slow, but it's very hard to do it on a computer. When you're doing it in driving, when you're driving regularly, you're gonna look at road conditions, right? And you're gonna steer away from that terrible road condition, whatever it is. It could be a tire on the road, with a rim. It could be a body on the road. You don't know, right? I mean, anything could happen in the road. It could be another car. It could be a motorcycle. It could be something hard to see. It could be an animal. But with that computer simulation, it's a little bit different. All they do is just have a left arrow, a right arrow, a green light, and a red light. That's all they have. Just those four things. And it's supposed to be like, it comes on, and then you move the steering wheel there. It comes on, you move the steering wheel to the other side. It comes on, you press the gas. It comes on, you press the brake. See what I mean? So anyway, it would be like my reaction time would be slow, and then it would get faster and faster every time we did it, And then so I didn't know if he was going to pass me or fail me there. But he kept on trying, nitpicking me, the whole thing. Anyway, we get into the car, right? Oh, and as we were walking to the car, he was walking real fast, way ahead of me, and he kept on talking. So I thought to myself, I said, what kind of guy is this? I mean, he could see that I'm limping. He even noticed it before he even thought I had a fall, and he's gonna tell me. He's gonna be talking to me while he's walking, increasing his distance. He's like 7 or 8 paces ahead of me. I don't know, And then he tells me, up ahead there's a place that we could sit down if you need a rest. So I'm over here thinking, what the? At least if he had the decency, the compassion, he would take a couple of steps, look behind me, and wait for me. That's what they all do. They all do the same thing. I'm not as fast as I used to be. Unless if I really want to go fast, but if I really want to go fast, I have more of a chance of falling down, and I also have more of a chance of getting breath. My heart rate is going to go up, my pulse is going to go up, my respiration is going to go up. So anyway, we finally get to, and I try to break the ice. I told them, I said we passed some police cars that were there, and then so I told them, I said, are we going to be doing the test in one of these fancy ones with the lights on top? And he starts laughing. And he said, no, we're not using that. He says, we're going to use the government issued car over here. So we get into the car, and he tells me, you have to adjust the mirrors and adjust the seat. So I adjust the mirrors, and then I adjust the seat, and then I adjusted the mirrors again, right? Because when you move forward or you move back, it's going to change your angle of what you're seeing behind you, all the sides, you know. And then I asked him, I said, well, what is that? Because there was a concave mirror there, a real small sliver of a thing. So anyway, I saw that, and I said, oh, that's nice. This way a car can't, sneak in on us. These small cars or a motorcycle, it can't sneak in on us. And then he said, well, you can't use that. And what are you thinking? So this guy, he kind of reminded me of the driving testers for the DOT, because all those trucks, they all had like those concave mirrors on the hoods also. So I went and he said that, and I said, yes, I did adjust them. He said, no, you did not adjust the mirrors. He said, you moved the chair forward and you did not adjust them. I said, I did adjust them. I said, but what I'll do just for you, I'll readjust them. So I took the passenger side and I readjusted. I put the mirror all the way as far as it can go, and then I brought it right back to where I had it. And I did the same thing to the other side. I moved the mirrors all the way out, and then I put it right back to where I could see, right where I could see, like just the like the back part of the car and most of the inside, because I figured that's gonna be, the part that if somebody's gonna try to sneak in, and because the blind spot, you could always turn your head to look at it, And what else? Oh yeah, when he was in there, right? I told him, I said, well, that I told him, well, what's this for? And I just put my hand on it. He said, don't touch that. And then so I said, whoa, I was just asking you if that was the horn. And then so I told him, I looked at the very inside part, so I said, is the horn here? He said, don't touch that. I said, I didn't beep it. I just want to know where the horn is. And he says, no, you can't blow the horn here because you got a lot of nervous people walking around here. This is mental health over here. I know it's mental health. You don't think you think I haven't been into mental health before? Come on. So anyway, he keeps on talking, right? He said, you can't blow the horn here. So I told him, look, I said, I'll tell you what, I'll take the test with somebody else at another time. So it takes me a long time to get out of a car. So I got out of the car, I took off my seatbelt, got out of the car, and I just left him there. I just left it there. I went upstairs and I spoke to the person who is the person that checks you in. The person who checks you in, right? So I go and I talk to the person there, right? His name is Carlos. He's in charge of setting up appointments, and he lets the people know that you're there or whatever. So I go and I tell Carlos. I said, Carlos, let me get the number to the patient advocate. Sort of like it's kind of like a go between me and all the therapists and the doctors and everything. And then I told him also. I said, and let me get the let me get the number of the supervisor for the therapist. So he gave me this telephone number, and I called up. And while I'm leaving a message there, this guy comes back, and he says, no, this is what happened. Even before that, right? I asked for the number of the advocate, the patient advocate, and his supervisor. So I see him walking down the long aisle. So I start heading towards his office, and then he opens the door, I'm trying to go in because I left my bag there. I left my bag in his office because it's a big bag, very heavy. So it's got like books and all kind of stuff in there. I mean, stuff that I need. And then so he said, why are you here? And I said, I want to get my bag. That's all. And then as I'm getting my bag, he says, do you want to talk about what happened, Mr. Perez? And I said, no, I don't want to talk. I want to talk to your supervisor. That's who I want to talk to. You know. And then so sure enough, I went to. They were doing some. They have a rock climbing wall there, and they were climbing up, and some of them were like one guy, Anthony. He was even rappelling. He did that before. He was rappelling off of the. When he gets to the top, he would rappel. And then I was watching that, and then so he comes. So the driving guy, the driving therapist, comes to me and he tells me, hey, here is the telephone number to my supervisor. So I told him, I said, I don't need for you to give me the number for the supervisor. I already called the patient advocate, your supervisor. I already called up my congressman for my zip code, and I already called up the senator's office because this is a federal building. You people run on federal money, you know. So anyway, I made all those calls while waiting over there. These people with rock climbing and stuff. They got a big rock climbing wall there. And then my neurologist, she comes around. So I'm talking with the neurologist. She comes by and I start singing. So here she is, Miss America. So she comes down. She said, Victor, that's very creepy that you. And I tell her, I said, how you doing, doctor? And I said, I need your approval because I want to be able to go up a 6 foot ladder because the tankers, they have a 6 foot ladder, and you have to go up on top of the tank, and you have to measure it. You have to measure whatever's inside the tank and show it to the customer. If it's like oil, you put the stick in and you put it out, and you show the customer what inch mark it is, and that's pretty much what it's gonna that's gonna be how many gallons have gone out of there. And then so that's a 6 foot ladder. And she says, no, I'm not gonna approve that. She said, you can go to your regular doctor. And I said, but you're the neurologist. You're the one that should know better than anybody about this. And she said, well, you have on one side, you have the ischemic stroke, and on the other side, you have the thalamus stroke. She says, so I'm not going to approve anything like a 6 foot fence. I mean, a 6 foot ladder for you. So anyway, I said, okay. I said, how about the 20-inch steps? And then she said, I'm not gonna approve that either. She said you should be happy with what you've gotten back. And she says you should be happy you're almost normal. And I told her, I said, well, that's gonna help me to at least drive a regular truck, you know. And that's why I told her, I said, look, let's do this. I said they can work with me with the 20 inches because they have a harness for the rock climbing wall, so they could put me on the harness, and I could do the 20-inch step, and then the next step I got into the cab area where the drivers sit down and they press on the gas, press on the brake, and steer, you know. And then and I said let me do the 20 inches, and then we'll revisit everything about the 6 foot ladder. I said because you could put a ladder right up against that rock climbing wall. You could put the mats. Because they have like these real thick mats, so you could put mats there, you know. And even if you fall down, nothing's gonna happen, you know. And not only that, but you got the harness, so you can't fall down because that thing is on a pulley system. And as you very well know, the pulley system it'll give you what is it? It gives you like every time it loops, it's gonna lessen your weight by half. So if you have two pulley system, See, your weight, like my weight, is 220. It's gonna go. It's gonna for that person who's holding the rope. It's gonna be like 110 because it's gonna put it in half. And if they have the four pulley, it's gonna be like a quarter, and so on and so on. The more pulleys you put in there, the less weight they're gonna have to hold on to. Just in case, like I say, if I slip and fall or whatever off the rock wall, which is kind of hard because you're always holding on to something. I used to do those kind of things when I was in high school. Actually, we did one that was similar to it. Actually, I think it was harder because it was pegs on a wall. And you had to like you had like two different pieces of wood, and you would actually put it in number order. You would go like one, and then maybe two was all the way over here, and three was in the other corner, and four was down, and so you had to look for it, and you had to do that. And so I think that was even harder. That was in high school, and we also had the rope climbing, and it wasn't like the rope climbing was totally different from there are no knots in it. You had to just hold it with your wrapping it around your leg, and that's the way they had it anyway. Um, what was I talking about? Yeah, so they could certainly do a 6 foot ladder. They certainly could. If they could have put the harness on me, they could have held me, and I wasn't gonna fall. And even if something happened to the harness, and even if something happened to the rope, which I doubted anything would happen, but you got mats all around there, so there was no way that I was gonna have any injury. And even if they didn't have mats, we could always use